Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another quick pick prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the light heavyweight bout between Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. So let's get into the telling tape. I said telling tape. Tell of the tape. So Ryan Spann will have a 3-inch reach advantage, a 3-year youth advantage, and a 1-inch height advantage. Anthony Smith on the side will have much better wins, much better experience, much better career throughout so far right now. But they both can have, parallels to them. I feel like, matter of fact, very much parallel where both guys had a lot of talent, a lot of potential, but for a good while, like they kind of lingered. Matter of fact, Smith did that longer. Like for a long time, he was a guy like he was good, he was solid, but just wasn't good enough. Like he was a journeyman. He was a young journeyman. Like even though he was not like even hit 30 yet, people already saw him as a journeyman. Like he was coming short all the time in these big matchups, and didn't do that well outside the UFC as far as like really winning titles. He had some good wins and stuff, but was never really consistent and never really that guy that just was came into the thing as like a blue chip prospect. Came as a guy like, oh, he been around, but we know who he is. And that kind of was his middleweight career. Then came light heavyweight career. He turned into like, oh my gosh, like his potential started to really come to fruition. And he got to the top, met John Jones, got dominated, started to come back down, and then now he's starting to like he lost John Jones. I think he has to rebound and beat. Um, I forget. I'm not even going to go with his career, but he definitely got a win over Gustafsson after John Jones. But he also had losses to Alexander Rakic, who's also a beast. He got a loss to Glover Teixeira, who's proven that he's still a beast, even at in his 40s, still a beast. So none of his wins as far as the light heavyweight you can't really knock. Glover Teixeira is about to get a title. Is in it having a title shot right now. The next title shot. Rakic is probably one of the best prospects in the light heavyweight division, or best contenders, up and coming contenders, if not the best, one of them. And then yeah, John Jones is the greatest light heavyweight of all times. Unless you want to hold on to like all the other stuff and just not look at what he did, you could say this and speculate this and whatnot. But John Jones is the greatest light heavyweight of all time without a doubt, no competition. But if you want to throw the stuff in there, then you can say, oh, he's got an asterisk on his name, but that's John Jones, and he lost to John Jones, so can't knock too much of his losses. But to get to the point as far as prediction right here, yeah, to get to the point, I think a lot of people confuse Spann as a striker, but Spann is actually a grappler. And you kind of get a lot of these confusion, like across weight class. You see this guy, he start to knock people out or get knockouts, or you start thinking he's a striker, but you forget, like when you look even just a little bit into it, or just remember just a little bit, oh, this guy is a grappler. And it should be pretty easy that you can realize Spann is a grappler, not a striker. Well, not that easy because has had more success in the UFC with his striking than his grappling, for the most part. We haven't really seen his grappling much. And I'm not really high on his grappling, to be honest. His takedown offense isn't the best. Ground control isn't super great, crazy. His top control, guard passing, none of that stuff is super crazy. Submission, success, and tools ain't all that great. So, to be honest, I think Smith is the better grappler. But I can see a potential where Spann, if he comes on point, can score takedowns, and similar to what Rackett did, and maybe Glover, and well, Glover kind of wore him down, but it was similar, like kick his legs out and try to lay on him or control him or tee him up on the feet and then score takedowns and try to ride that top position to a decision. I can see that potential, but that's not really from Spann. I feel like it's within Spann, but it has not been shown by Spann to be able to fight that smart or fight to a game plan that clean and do that over a course of 3 rounds, let alone 5, or 5 rounds, let alone 3. So with Spann, as far as striking, his success in striking is very much in spurts. Like he'll have that flash of greatness, like he did against Rogerio Nogueira, like he had against Serkinov, and for a little bit he had against Johnny Walker, and then that faded. He shot for a takedown for whatever reason. He had Walker hurt while he was going for a takedown, got hit with some little Travis Bound elbows, and kept going back for takedowns. He got knocked out cold from those. So I don't know. Always questionable this fight IQ. A lot of talent, but questionable fight IQ. Striking defense is very questionable. See him get hurt by Alex Nixon. See him get hurt in a lot of fights. See him get hurt by Sam Alvey. Have to go to his, split decision. Held on for dear life to get out of that 3rd round. So a lot of questionable things. But I think Andy Smith is just the more composed striker. I think he's the more evolved striker, more experienced fighter for sure. All those fights, been fighting since he was like 19, got like 50 fights, 60 fights. So I think Andy Smith is the more fleshed out striker. I think his grappling is more diverse, more versatile, and also he got some very good elbows when defending takedown. So that's me concerned, especially seeing what Walker did to Ryan Spann, and also what a Carl Robertson did to Ryan Spann. Similar elbows, like going for takedowns, he gave him some sharp elbows. We've seen Anthony Smith do that to Rashad Evans. Seen him threaten a couple other people with that. Shogun as well. So those elbows are very dangerous from Smith. We've seen Ryan Spann get twice done in by elbows by Walker, and real quick by Carl Robertson, a middleweight. So I definitely think if he tries to go the takedown route, he can run into some very sharp elbows. And um, Anthony Smith's elbows are just as good, if not better, than those other guys like Roberson and Johnny Walker. Probably really a lot better than Johnny Walker. Walker's not really even known for elbows. But to come to the conclusion and come to my prediction, I feel like Anthony Smith has all the tools and all the skills and all the experience to handle and be prepared for wherever Ryan Spann looks to take the fight to him. And like I said, I feel like Ryan Spann is good in bursts as far as his striking when he's dangerous, but not good consistently. You start to see the chips, the holes, the gaps, the weaknesses, the laps as the fight starts to flesh out. Like he can land these good combinations, all these good shots here and there, all these good combinations, but usually early, and the finish does not materialize. You start to see those holes. Definitely defensively, whether he's defending or throwing shots, you start to see those counters open. You start to see those defensive flaws, and he's a fighter that has historically and statistically faded as the fight went on. And Anthony Smith is a fighter with experience and a fighter that typically gets stronger as the fight goes on, typically, in most cases. And if I would have to guess, I'm not guess, if I would have to say a lock bet for this fight, I would say in the distance is a lock bet. Is Anthony Smith had like about 30 plus fights and about 30 plus wins. I think only 5 or less of those fights have went to decision. So Anthony Smith is a proven finisher. And on the other side, Ryan Spann, I think 70% of his fights are finished. So finished or him finished. So both these guys are finishers, and they're not scared to go for the finish or get finished because it's not nothing new to them. So this fight definitely what I would say in the distance is a lock. But ultimately, my decision, I feel like Ryan Spann can have those bursts, and I feel like Smith will be able to weather them, avoid them, or defend them, and then just start to walk them down, pick them apart, break them down, especially after that first and probably most of that second, or especially after the second in the 5-round fight. And if it goes late, but I'm saying the 3rd round stoppage for Smith in this one. I feel like he better weather it, like I said, avoid it, defend it, or weather it. Then take him in late, take him to deep waters has been a pattern for Smith in victories. Weather early, drown his opponents late. So and I'm not saying Spann that's ever gonna have such great success, but I'm saying if he is to have success, it's gonna be early. And either way, I feel like Smith is going to drown him, take him in late, start to pick him apart, start to see him fatigued, reaching for stuff, getting hit with elbows, trying to come in for these takedowns, getting his leg kicked up, getting his body kicked up, and just getting butchered and chopped down. Now see him getting finished in the 3rd round. So in this fight, I have Anthony Smith via 3rd round TKO.